In this video, we are going to be looking at Adalo, which is a no-code platform for building various types of apps. And so you can go out and you can actually build an iOS app or an Android app without writing a single line of code. And you can get this app into the respectable app store as well. And so this video is going to be divided into two parts. In the first part, I'm going to give you a general overview of Adalo. We're going to be discussing the kind of features, the functionality, the things that it can do, and maybe even some of the comparisons to some of the other no-code tools. And in the second part of the video, we are going to build a sample app so that you can see firsthand how this tool actually allows you to build an app in record time. All right, and so here we are at the homepage of Adalo. This is the main page here. And they're saying stop making mockups, start building real apps. And you want to go into the product and features, just get a general feel of the functionality and the features. And right away they tell us turn real ideas into real apps. They give you components, actions, and database. And if you have any experience building apps, you will see that this is the classical MVC framework, and this is the model view controller. And so you have the model here, you have the view, the components, and then you have the controller, which is the actions here. And so right away, this should make sense to you. If it doesn't, you should definitely spend some time learning about this, because the MVC framework is pretty much in all of these no-code build tools that we're going to be covering in the future. And so the components allow you to place various functionality and to display various things on the app. The actions is the logic, and so you can have somebody clicks on a button, it will do something. If somebody wants to view a detail view, it's going to show the detail view. Notifications, API calls, all of that can be done through the actions, and we're going to be covering this a little bit later in the video. And last but definitely not least is we have the database, and this is where you are modeling your data. You're going to be modeling, and it actually has a pretty cool database schema structure that I'm going to show you a little bit later in the video. Makes it super easy to build apps. And so it gives you some examples of these components, actions, and databases as well. And you can scroll down, you can look at different components. You can look at different actions that you have. You can scroll down. It has, the database, different features. This is really cool that you can set relationships, which is something that is not easily done in some of the other platforms, including Bubble. You can do it in Bubble, but you have to do a couple of extra steps, and this is done automatically for you in Adalo. And so here you go. And the other interesting thing is the marketplace. So if you go into product and marketplace, you can get a feel of what kind of functionality your app can have. And this is actually a very good thing that you can do. This is a very useful thing to do because you have the deck swipe, or you have a ad mob banner, you have a video. So you can do a lot of things. And you can even go out and develop a component if you'd like. You can do that too, but just to give you an idea of the components that you can start with, there's a ton of great components to start out with. And so you can go into Showcase, you can go into Templates, and you can get an idea of apps that you can essentially clone. So this is a really nice starting point. If you are not familiar with this platform, you can go out, you can go into Showcase Templates, and right away you can clone any of these apps. Okay, so there's a blog app, you can click on it and you can clone it. If you want to build maybe an e-commerce app, you can clone it. There's a lot of interesting app ideas, and having used this tool for a little bit, I can tell you that you can pretty much design any kind of app that you want with this tool, because it has all the the core functionality there. All right, so having said that, one of the best ways to learn how any new tool works and to become better and more proficient with a tool is to actually start using it. So I'm going to log in and I'm going to show you how to create a sample app. All right, so I just logged in, and what we're seeing at is a sample app that I cloned, and we are not going to be working on this app. We're going to go out and we're going to create a brand new app. So we can just click on this, create a new app. We're going to build a native mobile app. And we are not going to start with a template. We are going to start from a blank screen. Branding, app name. We're just going to call it to-do app. Okay, we're going to click create. And what I want to do here is I want to create a sample to-do app. Well, actually a fully functional to-do app, because I feel that's kind of a rite of passage when we are dealing with these no-code tools. If you're doing traditional development with code, the typical example would be a hello app. But in this example, when you're dealing with no-code apps, what you want to do is you want to go out and you want to build a to-do app. Because when you're out building a to-do app, you are utilizing all the core functionality of creating different items. So for instance, you're going to be creating a to-do item, you're going to be updating it, you're going to be deleting it. And so if you know how to do that, you can pretty much go out and build a lot of these other apps, very, very easily. At that point, you've already learned what you need to do. And so whenever you create a new app, let's talk about the what you see on the screen right now. On the left-hand pane, you have the branding, you have the various screens. I can click on that. I can see all my screens here that I'm seeing here. Then you have the database. This is actually really cool. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit. And then you have the settings. So you have various settings. You can also copy this app. You can delete this app right here. I had a problem deleting an app, and it's actually here in the settings. You can also publish the app in the Android, in the Play Store, in the iOS App Store, and as a progressive web app. And you also have analytics, so you can see various data, how many 30-day active users you have, etc., etc. So you have a lot of cool functionality there. And then this plus button is when you are able to create a brand new component. So you have these various components that you can create. You can also add a screen, different kinds of screens as well. So it makes it really, really easy to create apps. I'm really amazed and impressed by this tool. And it's actually, I mean, having used some of the other tools like Bubble, Appgyver, and several others that I talked about in some of the previous videos, I can tell you that Adalo is actually one of the easier tools to get started with. So if you're looking to build an app, whether it's a mobile app or a web app, you can do a lot worse than starting with this tool. It's actually one of the easiest tools that I've had experience with. And so right away, you see that we have 3 screens here. Okay, remember, we started from a kind of a basic template. We're starting from scratch. And so you can have a sign up and you can have a user login, which is kind of cool. But for the purpose of this video, we're not going to be using authentication. We're just going to create a sample app. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this by clicking it, and I'm going to click delete. And so I'm going to delete these screens here because I just want to create a sample app here. Authentication, user authentication is maybe something I'm going to be talking in a future video or so. And so right away, we have this basic screen that we have. And our app is only going to have one screen. This is going to be a sample to-do app. You don't need a lot of screens. You don't need to overcomplicate it. One thing I want to do is I want to click on this app bar, and I want to delete this thing here because this is a functionality that we don't really have this functionality. So I'm going to go to the right icon, and I'm going to disable it. And so now we have this basic, kind of basic screen. And as you're developing the app, you can click on this preview button, and you can see how the app looks and how it behaves. And so right now we only have one screen that's not doing anything. And you can also choose various phones, which is kind of cool. You have this screen here. You can do it on an Android phone. You can preview it on an iPhone as well if you'd like. So that is really cool. All right, so now let's get started. The first thing that we want to do is we want to define our database. Okay, so databases in Adalo are collections essentially. So we have database collections. We have the user collections. We have the users collection. And that is a collection you cannot delete because that comes standard with all the apps that you build. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new collection. We're going to call it to-dos, plural. Click add, and it's going to have 2 properties. It's going to have a name, and it's going to have a true-false boolean, and we're going to call this boolean done. So it's going to start with a false, done false, so not done. And then as we complete the tasks, we are going to switch the flag to true. We're going to click save. So we have a name field, which is the name of the to-do, and we have a boolean done field. Okay, so this is pretty much done, and we can click on this, and we can actually add to-do records. This is really cool. So I'm going to add a new to-do record. It's going to be learn Adalo. This is false right now. We're going to click on false simply because it's not done. And so there you go. You have learn Adalo. It's false a few seconds ago, updated a few seconds ago. What's cool about this is that you can import a CSV. You can download a CSV. They have API documentation. You can search. It's a really kind of full-featured, this embedded, this internal database, which is kind of cool. And so we have one to-do. Let's add another to-do just for fun of it. We're going to click here, add a to-do here, and we're going to say build an app. Build an app. This is also going to be false, and we're going to click save. All right, so now we have two to-dos here. We have two records here. And obviously, you can also modify the fields here. There's different data types as well when you're creating new ones. But we have two records. Now, the first thing that I want to do is that the way this app is going to be designed is we're going to have a list of items that are not done, followed by a list of items that are done. If you've seen my previous Appgyver video, which I'm going to link above, you will see that that is the same format that I used when I was creating a sample Appgyver app in that video. And so this is a really nice design. I feel it does everything well, and this is exactly what we're going to be doing. And so you want to click on this plus sign, and you have various lists. You also have an image form, you have text button, you have navigation elements, you have marketplace. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to drag and drop this simple list. Okay, now these items here are going to be the to-dos that are not yet complete. Okay, and so before we do that, we're going to go back. We are going to add another component. And so the component we're going to add is a text. And this text is going to say, to-dos. To-dos here, okay? And so we can have various actions. When you see this T here, this is a dynamic element. And so whenever you want to input something, you can click on this and you have access to various variables. So for instance, you can put a logged in users. If we were doing user authentication, which we're not in this example, form inputs, date, time, users, to-dos, all of these amazing things. And if you've used Bubble before, this is dynamic fields in Bubble. In an Appgyver, this is essentially you're binding to a specific data field. So it's all very, very similar. So if you know how to use one of the other ones like Bubble or Appgyver, you're going to be right at home here. And if you don't have experience, it's not going to be an issue. It's very, very easy to pick up. And so we have to-dos here. Now, what we want to do is we want to link this list here to the specific collection. So what is this a list of? We're going to put to-dos. And we want to filter these to-dos by to-dos that are not yet done. So what we want to do is we want to filter. We want to add a column filter, custom filter. And we want to pick done is false. Okay, so it's only going to select the to-dos that are not yet done. And there's a couple of more things that we need to do. But before we do that, we want to click on preview and see if the app is showing up fine. And so once we preview this app, we can see that we have two to-dos here. Unfortunately, it's not the right names here. So we need to make sure that the names and all the associated data is properly displayed in each of the rows here. And that is what we're going to do right now. And so if we scroll down, we have various fields for this specific list. So we have the list, we also have the title, we have the subtitle, we have the left section, and we have the right section. So for this specific list type, these are the fields that we can customize. So we can go into title, we have the to-do name, okay? And so as you can see, you can click on this T, you can put a name, you can delete this, you can click on this, and you can put a name, and now you have the to-do name. For the subtitle, you can do the same thing. You can put a subtitle. In this example, we actually don't need a subtitle because the name is all we really need. We have the left-hand section, and this is going to be an avatar, something. It could be an icon. We can display an icon. We can display a custom image if you want. There's various things that we can do. And we also have the right section here. The right section is disabled, but we want to enable it. And for the right section, we want to display a delete kind of icon there because we want them to be able to delete it from here in case they made a mistake, the user made a mistake, and it's no longer necessary for them to have this list item there. And so we're gonna go to this icon, and we want to choose this icon. So we're going to type delete, and we're going to choose one of these icons. This one looks pretty cool. It's self-explanatory, and we also want to create an action. If they click on this icon, we add an action, and we're going to delete. And this is going to choose, we're going to choose current to do, because this collection, this list knows that it's a collection of a to-do item. So we just configured the delete. Now, the next thing we want to do is we also want to do that if they click on this, that means it's completed. And for that, we want to go to the left-hand section, and we want to select an add icon. Yeah, so we can have an add icon. We can also maybe have a checkbox, something like this instead. So if they click on this, it automatically means that it's completed. And this checkbox here is going to be triggered whenever they click on this. So if you go in here, if we go to the simple list and we scroll down, we can add a new action whenever somebody clicks on this whole thing here, which is absolutely what we want. So we add an action. We're going to do an update for a current to do. Name is not going to have any change, but done is going to be now true, because now it's complete. And after it's true, it's going to disappear from here, and it's going to reappear below here. So let's see how it looks right now. We're going to preview this. And so right now we are looking at an app that's doing exactly what we want. So we have these to-do items that are not done. We can delete them and it's gone. Or we can press this and it's also going to be gone, but it's not deleted. It's simply changed its status to completed now. And so the next thing we want to do is we want to add another list that's going to display the items that have been completed using a different filter. And so what we want to do is we want to select this and we want to copy this list. And now we can drag it lower under it. We want to do the same thing for this. Control C, Control V. I'm going to drag it here. I'm going to fix it up a little bit. And this is going to be completed. Really nice. And then I'm going to go in here and done is true. Okay, perfect. And now it's going to display all the items that have been completed. And for this, obviously, we do not need the checkbox. We can change the behavior. We can still keep this one there, but maybe we can change the checkbox to something else. Maybe we can even remove this left-hand side, this left section, because it's no longer necessary, or we can have an icon that's going to move it back. So it really depends. That's a little bit of extra functionality. So I'm going to remove it for now just to keep things simple. And let's preview the app now to see what it looks like. And so now the app has one item that's completed, the one we clicked on, the checkbox here, it moved down, and that's about it. So there are no items that need to be done. And we can also click this trash can icon, and it's going to delete the item from the database completely. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to add a field to add a new item. Okay, this is very important because we have items that are being displayed, but we don't have items that we have no way of creating new items. And so we want to scroll down. That looks kind of cool. And now we want to add a new component that's going to take input. Okay, and so we have different components here. Form and fields, text input. That looks pretty cool. We are going to drag it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix it up a little bit. And we are also going to add a button that's going to trigger. So I'm going to go back to plus. I'm going to search for button. There's a button here. And we are going to add this button here. Okay, we're going to fix it up a little bit. There, that looks pretty cool. Okay, that looks nice. Maybe make it a bit smaller. And this button is going to be add, just to keep things very simple. Okay, let's make it just a little bit narrower. Okay, we have this. And we're going to, yeah, that looks pretty cool. And so this is going to say add new item. That's it. We don't even need a label. Now, if we go to this button, it needs an action, okay? And so we're going to add an action, and this is going to be create to do, okay? We're going to create to do. The name is going to be the name that we got from the form input, And it's so easy, like it's really easy. Look at this, it's all available. All I have to do, and it creates this form input, and it kind of, I feel it's even easier than Bubble in some ways. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is easier to use than Bubble? I definitely feel it's easier to use both than Bubble than Appgyver, but that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you think. So we're gonna add a new item. Done is gonna be false, and that's it. And we are done. So let's test it out. We're gonna click on preview. Let's see how it looks like. And we're gonna add a new item, add, and there it is. There's the new item 2. There it is. So we can hit complete, and it's gonna be here. We can hit complete, and now all of these are here. Then we can delete all of them, and then nothing is being displayed. So we can add a new item again. New item 3. We can add new item 4. And then I can hit this, and it's completed. And that's pretty much done. We are all done with the app. It's pretty much complete. And I believe I even created this app faster in Adalo than in both Bubble and Appgyver, because it was a little bit more of a complex process in those other no-code platforms. And so there's a lot more things that you can do. You can go to plus and you can add a new screen. You can do a lot of amazing things. You have navigation. You can do navigation lists, all kinds of different buttons, toggles. You can scroll down. You have form fields. You have simple type elements. You can explore the marketplace, and you can add a Google Maps I can install. There's a lot of interesting things. YouTube, I can create my new component, and I feel even creating a new component is gonna be super easy. And so that is pretty much it. That is how you create a sample to-do app in Adalo. And what I talked about in today's video is just merely scratching the surface, because there's a lot of interesting things that you can do. For instance, you can go to this button, you can click on this, and you can change visibility, you can arrange them, you can make a list, you can do a lot of interesting things. You can scroll down, you can change the type of the input field, so you can edit styles. That's one thing, but you can also change the type of the input field. Maybe you have a password input field, email number. There's a lot of interesting things that you can do. Not to mention that you can create actions that go out and do all kinds of API calls, REST JSON API calls to connect to other apps, such as Zapier or Integromat. And so you can create all kinds of sophisticated apps here. And all of this is something I plan on talking in some of the future videos. So if you have any ideas of topics you'd like me to cover in future videos, definitely leave them in the comment box below. Let me know if you found this video useful. Let me know in the comment box below. If you enjoyed this video, definitely smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. On this channel, we talk about various no-code tools, essentially how you can go out and build an app without needing to write a single line of code. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.